Chapter 1. The intriguing discovery In the dim light of her room, Evelyn discovered a thread buried deep within the labyrinth of an online forum. The title caught her eye, sending a cascade of curiosity rushing through her veins. Cicada 3301, The Puzzles of the Unknown, spoke of a mysterious organization that had captured the intrigue of puzzle enthusiasts worldwide. A thread hinted at a series of complex puzzles, celebrated for their obscure references and intricate solutions. Each post was a rabbit hole of codes, cryptograms, and philosophical queries. The more Evelyn read, the more captivated she became. Stories of triumph and despair echoed within the forum, tales of individuals lured into a world of whispers and riddles, seeking answers that seemed eternally out of reach. Little time for the flame of intrigue to ignite a desire within her, quest for knowledge, purpose, and perhaps even a sense of belonging. She delved deeper. Her friend Olivia leaned against the door frame, arms crossed, visibly skeptical. Evelyn turned, her excitement palpable, and began to share her findings, detailing the layers of complexity that made the puzzles so alluring. Yet, Olivia's expression remained unchanged. The air escaped from Olivia's lips. The concern in her eyes revealed a deeper fear. Evelyn's enthusiasm was infectious, but Olivia knew the dangers that lurked within the shadows of obsession. He recounted stories of those who had become too entangled in the enigmas of the digital realm, losing themselves to sleepless nights and fiery debates that spun out of control. Despite her friend's warnings, Evelyn's heart raced as she imagined deciphering the first riddle. The thrill of the chase beckoned to her like a siren's call, drowning out Olivia's cautionary tales. Evelyn's mind raced with possibilities, concocting scenarios where she could unravel the secrets entwined within the puzzles of Cicada 3301. With a reassuring nod, Evelyn placed her hand on Olivia's shoulder. Determined, her mind already swirling with the relentless pursuit of answers. The allure of unlocking the secrets of Cicada 3301 was irresistible. At night, the glow of her computer screen illuminated Evelyn's face as she sat in a cocoon of excitement. She scrolled through the forum, heart pounding in anticipation. A sense of connection began to form with those who sought the same truth. Digital tapestry of Cicada 3301. Something strange and enigmatic awaited. That moment, Evelyn felt as if she were standing on the edge of precipice, ready to leap into the unknown, aware of the shadows that loomed behind her, waiting to reveal the darker side of her whimsical journey. With every puzzle and every participant, the world of Cicada beckoned, pulling her deeper into its web, where answers lay hidden beneath layers of complexity and intrigue, waiting to be unearthed. Evelyn sat hunched over her laptop, her eyes bright with determination and curiosity. A screen glowed an eerie blue, illuminating the dim room around her as she stared at the encrypted messages flooding in from the archivist. Each message was more cryptic than the last, filled with strings of numbers and ancient symbols that twisted her thoughts into knots. The glow of the screen, fragments of strange lore and hidden truths began to unravel. The deeper she delved into the labyrinth of Cicada 3301, the more she felt a pulsating energy drawing her in, whispering secrets from the shadows. Her fingers danced over the keyboard, decoding the intricacies of the latest riddle, but her heart raced with anxiety. She often found herself in clandestine chat rooms, conversing with strangers who spoke in riddles and metaphors, their messages laced with urgency and mystery. Solvers like her, bound by a shared obsession that twisted them into an intricate web of promises and suspicion. Among the usernames, David stood out, a constant presence amidst the chaos. His insights were brilliant, illuminating aspects of the puzzle she had never noticed before, enticing her further down the rabbit hole. Yet, there was a shadow lurking in the back of her mind. Something about him seemed eerily familiar, as though their paths had crossed in another lifetime. The days bled into nights. Evelyn's focus narrowed, her thoughts consumed by the looming presence of Cicada 3301. She herself in the lore circulating around the organization, unraveling tales of lost candidates rumored to have vanished, swallowed by the darkness. Flickers of unease peppered her determination, every unsettling story echoing in her thoughts. A particularly late-night chat, the archivist sent a cryptic message that altered Evelyn's perspective completely. The last door, and how each puzzle was a key that could either unlock potential or seal one's fate. The words dripped with a foreboding quality that unsettled her, but propelled by raw curiosity, she felt herself getting closer to uncovering the truth. Just as she felt she was ready to unveil the answers hiding in plain sight, she received a direct message. Marcus, former member of Cicada 3301, who had slipped through the cracks of memory, only to resurface to warn her an echo of regret lining his words. His screen name shrouded in anonymity, Marcus told her about the secrets looming around the organization, the unsettling nature of the final revelations laid bare for those who dared to seek them. His warnings clashed violently with Evelyn's desire for knowledge, a tempest raging within her, ensnaring her into a personal conflict. With Olivia's voice haunting her thoughts, a plea for safety intertwining with her intrigue, Evelyn opted to share the latest findings with David. They arranged a meeting in a dimly lit park, away from prying eyes, where shadows danced like restless spirits among the trees. The air thickened with tension as she awaited his arrival, the cool breeze whispering foreboding tales of its own. It finally arrived. His presence bore a mixture of intensity and comfort. Together, they began to dissect Marcus's warnings, and as they delved deeper into the meaning of the archivist's messages, an unnerving revelation settled like a blanket of fog around their thoughts. The further they went down the path of discovery, the more intricate and dangerous the world of Cicada became. Evelyn's heart raced, caught in the crossfire of curiosity and fear. With each deciphered code and whispered secret, she stood at the precipice of understanding a dangerous place to tread. The shadow of the trees, as dark clouds gathered overhead, the weight of the unknown pressed upon her shoulders. The darkness whispered its secrets, luring her into a dance with danger, where every answer could shatter the fragile safety of the life she knew. That moment, as the wind whistled through the branches, Evelyn wondered if she would be able to hold on to herself while chasing the specters of Cicada 3301. Chapter 5. Unveiling the Truth. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation as Evelyn meticulously reviewed the encrypted message she had received earlier. A meeting was to take place in a dimly lit basement beneath an unremarkable cafe in the heart of the city, where whispers filled the space alongside the scent of roasted coffee beans. He arrived early, her heart racing, the echoes of her thoughts colliding with the chatter of passing strangers. She descended the steps, the faint hum of voices enveloped her, amplifying her excitement. A fluorescent bulb cast an eerie glow across the room, revealing a small group of individuals hunched over tables strewn with notebooks, laptops, and crumpled papers. Her eyes darted up as she entered, a mix of curiosity and caution evident in their expression. Evelyn introduced herself with a soft smile, her nerves bubbling beneath the surface. A murmurs quieted as a figure emerged from the shadows. Marcus, a former member of Cicada 3301. His appearance was as enigmatic as the legends surrounding the organization. Worn leather jacket hung loosely over his frame, and his dark hair framed a face lined with an understanding born of harrowing experiences. Marcus spoke. His voice resonated with a depth of knowledge, commanding the room's attention. He shared not only the excitement of solving the puzzles, but also the burden that accompanied the revelation. He spoke of his own journey, the thrill of discovery overshadowed by regrets that had followed him into the unrelenting night. Fingers tapping nervously on a table, Evelyn leaned closer, eager yet apprehensive. Marcus detailed harrowing encounters, wrapped in cryptic messages that echoed fear and fascination. He recounted moments where the organization blurred the lines between genius and manipulation, where wisdom became a weapon employed to ensnare the brightest minds in the web of Cicada. Sudden chill ran down Evelyn's spine as Marcus warned them of ripple effects spiraling from the pursuit of knowledge. The ancient adage, "ignorance is bliss," slipped into her mind almost hauntingly. He revealed that each riddle solved led them deeper into a reality cloaked in shadows, where control and power lurked menacingly in the background, akin to a predator patiently stalking its prey. Evelyn stole glances at the faces surrounding her, witnessing expressions of disbelief and trepidation swirling in the room. Riddle, once a source of excitement and camaraderie, began transforming into veils hiding disturbing truth, the underlying current of doubt tugging at her resolve, weaving intricate webs where her initial thirst for knowledge now tasted bittersweet. Marcus's haunting words settled within. She felt an undeniable pull towards the mysteries that lay ahead. Her desire to understand the organization's true nature battled with the growing fear of what such knowledge might mean. That moment, she realized that every secret unveiled came at a cost, a sentiment that weighed heavily on her conscience. A discussion continued, dynamics shifting subtly throughout the room. Ideas reverberated between the participants, revealing a mix of excitement and trepidation. Thrill, while others perhaps yearned to retire from their pursuit, wishing for the door that led back to ignorance. The meeting drew to a close. Evelyn stood on the precipice of two worlds, a fragile balance hanging in the air. Vessel of hope and dread coalesced within her. She gathered her strength to forge onward, knowing the shadows that trailed her. The allure of enlightenment was alive, ignited by whispers of truth, but she sensed the lurking implications ahead. Final glance at Marcus as he departed sent ripples of uncertainty through her mind. His parting words lingered like a haunting refrain. The true quest of Cicada 3301 was a seductive call, beautifully dark and profoundly complicated, an uncharted journey brimming with peril and wonder. With renewed determination, Evelyn resolved to plunge deeper into the enigmatic labyrinth of secrets surrounding Cicada 3301. Invigorated yet apprehensive, she prepared to forge her own path through the intricate maze of riddles and shadows. A weight of knowledge loomed heavy, acknowledging that each step could lead her closer to profound wisdom or entrap her within an unending cycle of enigma. The flickering glow of her computer screen, Evelyn's heart pounded as she stared at the final riddle. Complex web of numbers, letters, and symbols that seemed to pulse in sync with her anxious heartbeat. Weight of the world pressing down on her, each tick of the clock echoing like a distant drum, urging her onward. Hours rolled by as she deciphered the notes left behind by the archivist, guiding her through layers of abstraction that turned her thoughts into a beautiful yet overwhelming storm. The exhilaration of the hunt surged through her veins. Yet, as she worked, shadows danced in the corners of her mind, casting doubt and fear over her relentless pursuit. The riddle she faced now spoke of choices of paths that branched out like the veined wings of a cicada. Each option shimmered with temptation, but behind them loomed murky depths that hinted at danger. Her fingers moved deftly across the keyboard. Remnants of Marcus's warnings echoed incessantly. The allure of knowing the most profound truths was now interlaced with a chill creeping down her spine. Those fleeting moments of deciphering the final riddle, Evelyn's thoughts drifted to David. His enigmatic presence had pulled her into this world, challenging her intellect and forging an unspoken bond. Yet, his sudden disappearance hung like a shroud over her excitement, replacing enthusiasm with a visceral sense of dread. Feel the warmth of his laughter, a stark contrast to the cold reality of the unknown that enveloped her. Just as she began to feel overwhelmed by the conflicting emotion, a message illuminated her screen, a direct communication from the archivist. A spectral presence, hovering at the edge of her consciousness, were simple yet chilling. The truth lies not in the answer, but in the choice you make. Evelyn's breath hitched in her throat. The gravity of those words weighed heavily upon her. With the final puzzle nearly solved, she faced a choice that transcended mere intellect. It was a moral dilemma, a stark divergence that could lead her to either enlightenment or darkness. The enigmatic organization, surrendering to the shadows or choose to expose them to the light, reclaiming agency over what lay hidden. Dilemma clouded her mind as fragments of her journey flickered before her. The tales of lost souls, the cryptic messages, and the shrouding shadows all coalesced into an encompassing haze. Evelyn's gaze drifted to the window, where shadows loomed outside, and a gust of wind rattled the panes, whispering secrets that begged to be explored. Finally, in a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, she resolved to encounter the archivist. Confrontation was inevitable. The penumbra of doubt would not relent it until she faced the enigmatic figure who had woven the threads of her journey. She prepared for the meeting, a glimmer of determination ignited within her. Air around her felt electric, charged with possibilities and dire consequences. To a forgotten corner of the world where reality blended with the ethereal, quiet alley cloaked in darkness, where she believed destiny awaited. There, beneath a flickering street lamp, she took a breath, heart hammering in her chest, and as a figure emerged from the shadows, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. The archivist stood before her, their presence enveloping the space in an aura of enigma. That moment, as they locked eyes, Evelyn felt a rush of fear and resolve surge through her. Answers she sought, the purpose entwined in Cicada 3301, waited just beyond this threshold. The pulsating energy around her sang with tension, enveloping her in a cocoon of impending revelation. Thus, she stood at the crossroad of fate. The choice lay before her, a descent into obscurity or a rise towards enlightenment. The echo of silence, she could almost hear the cicadas' whispers, reverberating the secrets of existence. Face the darkness or step into the light. Only time would whisper the answer, for she was neither free nor bound, merely a seeker in a world riddled with unanswered questions. Chapter 6. The final puzzle. It was a moonless night, the kind where shadows stretch long and envelop all that lay beneath them. Evelyn felt a sense of unease as she stood outside the nondescript warehouse, her pulse quickening with every breath. This was where the final puzzle awaited, hidden deep within the murky depths of the Cicada 3301 enigma. The air was thick with anticipation, each rustle of leaves whispering secrets she longed to uncover. It had vanished, leaving a gaping hole in her search for answers. The last message she received from him was cryptic, hinting at a breakthrough but shrouded in urgency. Auditor, mingling with curiosity, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being drawn into something far darker than she imagined. She stepped through the doorway. She was greeted by a dim glow emanating from a cluster of flickering candles placed in a circle on the concrete floor. A scent of wax and something faintly metallic filled the air, a warning she struggled to ignore. Round the circle, a group of individuals whispered feverishly, engrossed in their own discussions about the final puzzle. Their faces were obscured by hoods and shadows, an eerie reminder of the anonymity that surrounded the organization. Evelyn felt her heart racing as she approached the group, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She managed to catch fragments of conversation, words that sent shivers down her spine: betrayal, sacrifice, and transcendence. These words were not just metaphors, but rather a foreshadowing of what awaited within the final riddle. Among the crowd, an unsettling familiarity clung to a hooded figure, pulling Evelyn deeper into this web of intrigue. She approached, the figure turned, revealing the sharp contours of David's face, his expression a mixture of relief and caution. Evelyn felt her heart flutter, though anxiety swiftly replaced the warmth of connection. There was no time for delight. They had a puzzle to solve. Together, they gathered near the candles, studying a piece of parchment that lay atop a makeshift altar in the center of the circle. A script was an intricate blend of geometrical shapes and cryptic symbols, an architect's dream twisted into a puzzle that seemed insurmountable. Their eyes locked onto the riddle. A shiver raced down Evelyn's spine. Though the puzzle itself was alive, watching, waiting. David worked in tandem, each line scribbled and coded. An undercurrent of urgency raced through the room. Every minute pressed upon them, heavy with the cautionary tales Marcus had shared. Tasks that lay ahead were not merely intellectual challenges. They carried the weight of history, those who had come before and lost themselves within Cicada's embrace. Each solution seemed to unlock not just answers, but a deeper understanding, a glimpse into the philosophy governing Cicada 3301. The air crackled as they deciphered codes, deciphering layers that seemed to reach into the very essence of human intellect and spirit. Every solution, an uneasy burden settled on her shoulders. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed through the warehouse, sending tremors through their focus. A group fell silent. Eyes darted anxiously, breaths held as though the very fabric of time braided around uncertainty. In that moment, Evelyn felt a shift within the space, a dissonance underscoring their pursuit of truth. The final puzzle was not meant to be solved. It was a test of something far deeper. The tension built. Evelyn sensed David's presence beside her, a steady anchor amidst turbulent thoughts. Together, they returned to the riddle, fully aware that this was not just a quest for knowledge, but a confrontation with the shadows that loomed within them. Each solution unraveled a thread not merely of the puzzle, but of their identities, beliefs, and fears. Time slipped through their fingers as they continued, deepening their understanding of what the final puzzle demanded from them. With each word deciphered, visions filled her mind, images of what could be and what could be lost. Knowledge, once a beacon of hope, appeared increasingly as a double-edged sword, threatening to slice through the very essence of their being. Final flourish, they reached the last section of the riddle. Evelyn felt a sweat bead at her temple, heart pounding in her chest as they stood on the precipice of revelation. The truth lay bare before them, but was it worth the price that knowledge demanded? Together, they made their choice. There was no turning back now. Candle flames flickered wildly as they whispered the last solution, surrendering themselves to the shadows that welcomed them, knowing that the final riddle would lead them deeper into the heart of everything Cicada 3301 had become. The silence that followed, the atmosphere grew thick with anticipation and dread. It was a moment suspended in time and place where all gathered knowledge met the weight of consequence, a crossroads of discovery and potential ruin. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat as a haunting whisper echoed through her mind. They had solved it, but at what cost? The path forward trembled uncertainly before her. The embrace of the unknown loomed closer, filling her heart with a mixture of exhilaration and fear, leaving her teetering on the edge of liberation and entrapment within the world of Cicada 3301. Chapter 6. The final puzzle. In the haunting stillness of the night, Evelyn felt a palpable tension in the air, a heavy anticipation wrapping around her like a shroud. David's mysterious disappearance weighed heavily on her mind, an echo of despair resonating with each tick of the clock. With whispers of the final puzzle reverberating in her thoughts, she resolved to unravel the enigma that had ensnared both their fates. Clues had led her to an abandoned warehouse at the edge of the city, a place where secrets held their breath and shadows lingered. A night sky cast a shroud of darkness around the derelict building, a haunting silhouette that reached out against the moonlight. Evelyn stood outside, shivering not just from the chill that bit at her skin, but from an unsettling sense of trepidation that rippled through her. She clutched a crumpled piece of paper, a final riddle etched across its surface, an intricate puzzle that had taunted her for days. Each line unfurled potential, weaving threads of knowledge, yet it concealed a foreboding truth beneath its seemingly benign facade. The words beckoned her, promising answers yet warning of uncharted territories. She took a step forward, the floor creaked beneath her, a whisper resonating through the hollow expanse of the warehouse. Her heart raced as she crossed the threshold, stepping into a realm suspended between reality and the nebulous world of Cicada 3301. Dim light filtered through dust-laden windows, revealing remnants of forgotten machinery, each artifact shrouded in cobwebs and memories. Evelyn's breath quickened, and she could not help but feel that she was not alone. It clung to the corners of her vision, dancing and swirling as if they bore witness to her resolve. A pulsing heartbeat of the riddle surged within her, guiding her deeper into the depths of the building. A flicker of movement caught her attention. A figure emerged from the darkness, its outline both familiar and foreign. Marcus. A specter of his earlier warnings echoed through her consciousness, but she held her ground, her determination bolstered by the gravity of her quest. In glance, he gestured for her to follow him deeper into the warehouse. ventured into a chamber concealed behind a massive, rusted door. Inside, a dimly lit space revealed a vast array of clues, each one a fragmented piece of the puzzle lying before her. Papers scattered across surfaces bore the marks of countless seekers, while sketches and symbols filled the walls, forming a chaotic tapestry of intellect interwoven with despair. Evelyn absorbed the chaotic beauty around her. The weight of Marcus's presence was both comforting and foreboding. He spoke softly, relaying the importance of their task. The clock was ticking, and every moment could lead to unraveling or catastrophe. Atmosphere simmered, laden with urgency, igniting a fire in her chest. Together, they began to dissect the final puzzle, the air thick with tension as they traced the connections between seemingly disjointed clues. Each deciphered fragment revealed layers of deception inherent in the organization, whispering of loyalty, betrayal, and the true cost of knowledge. Hours turned into minutes as anxiety knotted in Evelyn's stomach, the shadows lengthening, echoing insidious whispers of threats waiting to cast doubt upon their quest. With each solved clue, they crept closer to unveiling the last door, yet they also felt the suffocating presence of impending doom lurking on the threshold. The final piece fell into place. An electric charge coursed through Evelyn. He stood at the precipice of profound realization, yet vulnerability clawed at her consciousness. The words of the archivist reverberated in her mind. Truth lay not just in answers, but also in the choices that followed. With newfound clarity, she turned to Marcus, seeking reassurance in his eyes. They were no longer merely piecing together the final riddle. They stood united against the shadows that threatened to engulf them both. The choice that lay ahead suddenly felt monumental. Would they press on and confront the enigma, or retreat into the safety of ignorance? As uncertainty waged war within, Marcus offered her a steadying hand. Connection between them ignited a determination that flickered like a candle amidst the darkness. Together, they whispered a single vow by the light of their shared resolve, ready to unveil what lay behind the veil of Cicada 3301. The depths of the warehouse, they prepared to unlock the final door, each heartbeat resonating with the gravity of the choice they were about to make. The air thickened with anticipation, laden with secrets hidden from prying eyes, as Evelyn whispered a quiet plea to the shadows that surrounded them, hoping for guidance amidst the haunting unknown. With bated breath, they stepped closer to the final puzzle, standing at the cusp of revelation, convergence of fate that held the power to reshape their lives forever. Powered by curiosity and a fierce sense of purpose, Evelyn was ready to confront whatever emerged from the shadows, where that closure, redemption, or haunting despair awaited them beyond. Chapter 7. Choice ***. The flickering candlelight cast dappled shadows across the dim warehouse, where the air felt thick with unspoken truth and palpable tension. Evelyn's heart raced as she stood shoulder to shoulder with David, their breaths mingling with the scent of wax and unfulfilled promises. The final puzzle, now solved and hanging in the ether, whispered of myriad paths, each lined with the potential for both enlightenment and darkness. The last reverberation of their whispered solution faded, an unsettling silence enveloped them like a shroud. The faces around Evelyn's blurred vision shifted, a mere backdrop to the storm brewing within her mind. Undeniable weight pressed against her chest. A decision loomed large on the horizon, bright yet terrifying. That suspended moment, time fractured, memories and glimpses of the journey she had taken flooded her thoughts. Her fingers traced the contours of the riddle they had just solved, leaving a grotesque imprint upon her consciousness. No longer just a sequence of numbers and symbols, it had transformed into something altogether different. An invitation veiled in the darkness she had relentlessly pursued. From the corner of her eye, she caught David watching her, his expression a blend of reassurance and trepidation. They both understood the stakes, the gravity of the choice that was now laid bare before them. The archivist's words loomed large in her thoughts. The truth lies not in the answer, but in the choice you make. Those words echoed like a haunting melody, reverberating with every heartbeat. The shadows danced along the walls, encompassing her in their embrace. Evelyn felt the familiar voice of her doubts creep in. Marcus's warnings flickered in her mind, an entrapment disguised as enlightenment, a seduction of intellect that could lead to ruin. Did she wish to surrender herself to the very organization she had sought to decode? Would she turn the light on their secrecy, exposing Cicada 3301 to the world outside? Every option felt like a razor's edge, threatening to cut the fragile tether connecting her to her identity and beliefs. And trembling, she ran her fingers over the parchment, biting back a whirlwind of emotions. Was a question not easily rendered? Was the allure of truth worth the potential of losing herself to its depths? In a surge of determination, she steeled herself, her voice resolute as she broke the heavy silence. He lifted her gaze to David, searching for the shared connection that had guided them thus far. That instant, a flicker of understanding passed between them as if they could both grasp the invisible threads binding them to their intertwined fates. He spoke firmly, expressing her desire to confront the archivist once more, to unravel the veils cloaking their motivations. There was an urgency about her words, rooted in the hope that together they could illuminate the darkest corners of Cicada's labyrinth. However, David's expression shifted, a storm brewing in his gaze. Surface of his resolve, doubt loomed. She witnessed his struggle between the familiar comforts of camaraderie and the scope of the unknown they had barreled toward. Moment passed, heavy with unspoken fears, until David nodded slowly. Resolute, they set off into the shadows cast by uncertainty. Each step drummed against the cold concrete floor as they navigated through the warehouse, every echo a reminder of the cosmos of knowledge and the burden they carried. If summoned by their declaration, the archivist awaited them in the depths of the warehouse, cloaked in mystery and ethereal authority. A figure stood before a table draped with obscure artifacts and cracked tomes that whispered ancient secrets. A sudden intensity of the air caused Evelyn's breath to hitch. The moment she had envisioned had arrived. With a mixture of bravery and hesitance, they exchanged greetings, the unease in the air palpable. Archivist's presence enveloped their conversation, imbued with a charisma that both entranced and unnerved. Here, this was no mere encounter. Evelyn felt that the very essence of her journey, her pursuit of knowledge, now converged at this pivotal moment. They questioned the archivist, seeking clarity on the intent behind Cicada 3301 and the moral implications of their riddles. A myriad of answers unfolded. The figure spoke with a gravitas that etched each word into their minds, unveiling a philosophy rooted in the threads of society's most prominent thinkers and scholars. Yet, woven within this illumination were shadows, dark fibers tangled with insidious intent, the very risk Marcus had warned them against. Confronted with the truths unveiled, a deep struggle blazed within Evelyn. The whispers of Cicada's true purpose echoed through her mind, an aching dilemma caught between knowledge and ignorance, light and shadow. Embrace this newfound understanding, surrendering herself to a world defined by elite minds seeking control, or would she eschew the seductive mystery of knowledge, choosing instead to shine a light upon what threatened to eclipse her very existence? The tension in the room swirled thicker, charged force pulsing against her skin, until she finally spoke her reluctant decision. Knowledge was to be a double-edged sword, and it was imperative to ensure it was wielded with care. No secrets would remain in the shadows. It was time for the truth to breach the surface. That moment of clarity, Evelyn felt a calmness wash over her resolution to confront the shadows as they extinguished. Together with David, they chose transparency, learning to expose the secrets of Cicada 3301 rather than succumb to the lure of its depth. A weight of knowledge now felt like a beacon, illuminating a path away from manipulation. The candlelight flickered, dancing like whispers fading into the night. Evelyn found solace. They would reclaim their agency, not as hidden pawns in a game of intellect, but as harbingers of truth embracing both the vulnerable and the powerful, seeking clarity in the darkness. Sense of renewed purpose. They prepared to step into a world laden with risks yet filled with hope. Knowledge would become the shield rather than the sword, paving the way toward whatever lay beyond the enigmatic embrace of Cicada 3301. Chapter 8. echoes of silence asterisk asterisk. Evelyn stood at the edge of the abyss, where the dim light flickered like a hesitant heartbeat against the thick walls of uncertainty. The air was electric with anticipation, haunting tension hanging in the stillness as she faced the archivist. Their cloak wrapped around them like shadows, obscuring their true identity and motives. With each measured breath, Evelyn felt the weight of the moment pulse through her. A choice loomed heavy in her mind, a fork in the road leading to enlightenment or the haunting grip of darkness. The curious puzzle enthusiast, ignorant of the dangers lurking in every riddle, she had journeyed deep into the labyrinth of Cicada 3301 and emerged transformed, innocence sacrificed on the altar of knowledge. The archivist's voice cut through the humming silence, flowing like a whispered secret. They spoke of the purpose behind the puzzles, of how each challenge was designed to filter the best minds from the rest. Insight washed over Evelyn, a shiver coursed through her spine, and as a quest for enlightenment morphed into a game of manipulation. Every revelation felt like a thread, unraveling the fabric of her being, testing her morality at every turn. Haunting images of Marcus's warnings intertwined with memories of David's laughter, now merely echoes of the past, rang in her ears. The choices she had made ushered her to this very precipice of truth. She could feel the chilling grasp of regret, intertwining with her desire for understanding, prompting her to reconsider the very foundations of her pursuit. The archivist continued, their voice imbued with a chilling calm, that those who chose ignorance would find solace, but for those who sought truth, the road unfurled into darkness. Knowledge was power, they professed, a double-edged sword that could cut through the veils of reality or plunge one into despair. Evelyn felt the duality electrify the air around her, an enticing promise laced with danger. Born between the allure of joining Cicada 3301 or exposing the organization that had ensnared her and so many others, Evelyn's heart raced. Palpable tension simmered within her, fueled by the weight of countless decisions made in pursuit of the ultimate mystery. The thrill that once pulsed through her veins now felt like a serpent coiling around her, tightening with every second that passed. Evelyn caught herself wishing to retreat into the familiar embrace of ignorance. Distant laughter, warm and inviting, echoed in her memory, weaving a pathway back to a life untouched by the shadows of Cicada. Yet, the shadows themselves were now a part of her identity, an indelible imprint of the journey she had chosen. A moment of clarity, Evelyn recalled the fleeting words of Marcus, "The truth comes at a cost." What had she sacrificed along the way? Innocence, relationships. Would she be able to reclaim the pieces of herself scattered across the jagged landscape of revelation? In that instant, Evelyn made her choice. Forward, grounding herself in the conviction that truth, no matter how painful, was preferable to the chains of ignorance. It would not be just another pawn manipulated by the grand design of Cicada 3301. Instead, she resolved to carve her own path, to expose the shadows and reveal the light hidden within the darkness. With newfound resolve, she looked into the archivist's eyes, seeking answers that lay beyond their cryptic facade, searching for some semblance of understanding. They studied her with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine, as though attempting to peer into the depths of her soul, and that her decision, filled with courage, would irrevocably alter the course of her life. The archivist smiled slightly, as if satisfied by her choice. Knowledge is a double-edged sword, but it is yours to wield, they murmured, and the echoes of their voice lingered in the air like an ancient incantation. Evelyn felt the shadows shift, coalescing around her in a way that felt protective yet oppressive. That moment, she vowed to be a beacon against the darkness, to shine a light on the secrets hiding within the organization. No more silent screams, no more unanswered questions. The last remnants of the encounter faded, and the atmosphere thickened with a sense of finality. Evelyn steadied herself, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The world remained oblivious to the mysteries she carried within. Striking a delicate balance, she understood the burden that awaited her, the quest for truth, interwoven with the weight of her choices. Midst the whispers of the shadows, The haunting echo of her own voice could be heard. Knowledge is a double-edged sword. Now, I am ready to wield it. Thus, she emerged from the depths of Cicada 3301, a seeker reborn, determined to navigate the labyrinthine shadows that surrounded her and to transform them into threads of light. The journey ahead was uncertain, but with the lingering echoes of her past distilling like memories lost in time, she was set to face the world anew, armed with the potent truth that whispered through the night.